Hello, 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 and welcome to season 4, episode 10 of Rewind with Ro. I'm your host, Ro Carter, and my amazing co-host, Rob Smith. How are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. I tried to wear my green too, but it's just not coming across as fabulous as yours.
I mean, deep, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Gotta go in the closet, look deep. There it is.
Dig deep.
That's it. I got a lot of stuff. Anyway, how are you, bud? How's the week been? It's been crazy, right? The guy, the CEO got killed, and the stuff happened, and the kid got caught, and then people doing conspiracy theories. Jamie Foxx had to talking about the stuff that happened. Jay-Z now getting under wraps. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, so how's your week?
It's a circus out there. It's a zoo. My week has been good. It's been calm, surprisingly calm. Okay. So I'm in a good space. I'm in a good space. How about you, Ro? How's it been? You just came off Art Basel.
Yeah, so I went to one of the events. That was beautiful. It was really nice, cool art I got to see. I only did the last hour because I was running around all day because traffic was crazy. And so I was like, I'm only going to pay $65 for 1 hour. And I did. And didn't regret it. But I was like, everybody's like, why didn't you just go the next day and just pay the $65 for the whole day? And I was like, you know what? I would have done that. I would have gone. You know, when you're like, when you just do something last minute and you're like, I'm here, I might as well just do it. Yeah. Whereas like if you had all day, stuff happens, another thing happens, and then the day gets away from you.
Exactly.
So I did what I had to do, but it was really cool for the first time experiencing it. Miami, once again, doesn't know how to operate when they have any events. So I don't know.
I went last year, but I only went to like a few things.
Yeah.
Mainly parties.
Again, hey, I went to one. I had to walk out. I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy. This is crazy." I went to I've never been to 11. I was like, "What is this?"
It's like, what's happening?
Yeah, I was like, "This is Vegas. I don't need to be here."
We too old for that, bro.
Yeah, but hey, I like. Listen, let me tell you something. I never left so quick in a place.
You like, get me out of here.
My boy's like, "Where you go?" I'm like, "Man, I gotta go. I can't
get me out of here.
I'm too old, man. You're going to make me risk it all tonight. I'm not trying to do that."
Mm-hmm. Don't risk it all, bro.
Don't risk. Hey, it was crazy in there. I was like, when you got to leave. Like, I got to
go.
I got to go right there. And I did, ladies and gentlemen. I walked it off. Walked home, got my behind home, had a good time. But there were some crazy events. So when you come down here, you got to be careful. Anyway, that's my warning. So I went to the movie theaters last week. I haven't been to the movie theaters in a while because we've been doing a lot of things on Netflix and other streaming services. So the movie theaters was like, let's go to the movies. And we picked Wicked.
Bro.
No. Listen. I'm going to go in with this right now. This musical, this book has done crazy numbers. All right. Off the chart. People couldn't wait for it to go on the screen. I will tell you up front, I am not a musical fan. I can't do it. You may be one or two songs we'll discuss, but it's sometimes painful. So I'd rather the acting versus the singing because I need a song that I can, like Lion King, I'll do all day. I saw Lion King on Broadway, jamming, boom, boom. Other stuff where it's just like, Les Miserables, and like, so I can't do that stuff. I can't do it. So
you weren't familiar with the music around Wicked before?
No, I've never heard a song. Never saw Wicked. I lived in New York. Never saw Wicked ever. I'm really messed up about this. We're gonna go get deep into this. What Wicked really is and what they be fronting as they trying to be. But Wicked is some messed up, some real life stuff is messed up. So that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, Wicked is now fan favorite musical, has made its way to the big screen. We have the amazing Alphaba is the Wicked Witch. She's played by Cynthia Erivo. She's been in so many things right now. She's blowing up. So this is her big. This is her own thing. And she is side by Ariana Grande, the singer. I think she's a Tony. Is she a Tony Award winner? I don't think so. Anyway, she's done 1 Grammys. She's playing Galinda, the Good Witch. We're going to get into that later. Then you have Prince Furio, played by Jonathan Bailey. Michelle Yee plays Madame Maribel. Jeff Goldblum plays the Wizard of Oz. Just going over a couple of people in there. And shockingly, Peter Dinklage plays Dr. Dillwood. I'm glad they didn't use him as one of the little people. No, I mean, you had a great actor that you could have used of all the movies. This is the movie you can use.
I just had that conversation with someone yesterday, ironically enough.
Am I wrong?
Well, they felt the opposite. I was like,
listen. He has range, but I mean, exactly. you could have like made a whole little path for the, you know.
That's what she was saying. She was saying, you know, they would have cast more people. I was like, I think he was perfectly cast.
I mean, it's literally like there's a world where black people are, and we're like, we could use the black. Nah, we're gonna CGI. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
I think.
Am I stretching out, Rob? Is that?
No, but I do think sometimes he probably wants to like.
You don't want to get typecast, of course, but
he wants to extend his acting chops beyond always being the little person in the project. And I think it was great that they cast him. You know, that they utilized his voice for that integral character in the story. So
okay, all right,
yeah, I liked it.
So Wicked is the untold story of the Witches of Oz. Elphaba, who is a young woman, is misunderstood because of her color of her skin, and has yet to discover her true power. Glinda is a popular young woman, gilded by privilege, who is yet to discover her true heart. These two meet at the College of Shiz University. So this is where they go, or where they learn. I wasn't really sure. Like, some people have gifts, some people don't. Like, they didn't really explain that. I also fell asleep 3 times in this movie because it was so long. But there were scenes. I was like, so certain people have talents, certain people don't have talents, certain people are just faking the front. I'm like, what's going on here? So anyway, you go to this school. It's similar to going to Hogwarts, but it's for everybody who has abilities and kind of learns how to use it. And then you will eventually discover what you want to be and how you can contribute to Oz. So be it. As Elphaba and Glinda meet due to circumstances beyond their control, they want to become friends. Later on, Elphaba gets invited to go visit the Wizard of Oz. She invites Glinda to come with her, and they later become closer friends, but then a certain situation leads them into circumstances beyond their control, and they go their separate ways. And this really makes them become who they are. So Glinda now becomes the Good Witch later after this, and then Elphaba becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. And you see how their origin story. So everybody's always wondering, how did this person become evil? How did they become that? This is their origin story. So for anybody who's never seen this before, short story, this is the origin story of the witches and how they become who they are. I went in here not knowing what this story is about. I thought it was just like the prequel to the book Wizard of Oz. So when I went into this, I was like, oh, okay, now we're going to find out how she becomes evil. But in my opinion, Rob, I don't think Elphaba's evil at all. Glinda.
She's not. That's the point of the.
Well, yes. But I'm saying, if you didn't see that, if you just watch the Wizard of Oz, and then you see this, you're like, yo, they were telling us something totally different.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the story. That's the kind of the through line of the story. Yeah. So, and we hear that when the wizard says the easiest way to unite people is to find a common enemy. So, you know, she became that common enemy, and that idea of her being this vicious, evil, wicked witch when she was actually out for good is what spread across Oz.
And that's when the politics come in the story. Yeah. And if you were upset about what happened recently in our politics, you felt it again. You had another vibe like, oh, this sounds familiar. We're picking sides. Oh, the person who is a color, we don't want to be on her side. The white woman, once again, not helping out and doing what she wants to do for her own benefit. Sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it, Rob? Mm-hmm. I was all over this, and then putting people in locking people up, the animals, because they can speak and they're intelligent. I was like, yo, this thing is going deeper and deeper. These kids in the movie don't even get that. They're laughing and like, oh, look at that, that's cute. I'm like, no, man, this is some deep political stuff. This is crazy. I'm sorry.
I love it.
I was passionate about it. I was like, yo, yeah, I was like, this is some BS right now. I really, honestly, it goes so deeper than this beautiful story that as you know, generations and generations have been raised on. But now you see it really come together in fruition of like, wow, this is how they get you. This is how you buy into the BS. And then later on, you're like, oh, I don't know what happened. Now I know what that's idiots going. Yeah, they're dumbasses. That's what that is. Anyway, I digress. Rob, you take over from now. Let me
No,
know.
I'm not gonna take over, bro.
I get very
You got emotional. You got emotional. It's okay. You're allowed to get
so,
emotional. You see, this is why they get emotional every time they do an interview.
That's true. That's true. They were acting a fool and that. So anyway, what did you've seen the play before or no? Or
I've actually
read the book?
Yes, I have the book and I've read it, but I've not actually gone to see the production, which I really want to. I still want to. I need to. Got to make my way to do it. But I have not, unfortunately. And you were in New York and you ain't go?
Once again.
You have no desire. Yeah.
It's but not worth.
You have a desire to go see it.
So the only one I'm upset I never saw because it was so expensive. And that was All the President's thing. What was that thing that played?
Oh, Hamilton.
Hamilton's the only one that I wish I saw, because when I saw that on Disney later, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So that's the only thing I regret not seeing live, but every other play I could give two less about. Although Lion King was amazing, what they did with like how they made the animals come to life in the auditorium, I was like, wow, this is crazy. So very creative.
Yeah.
The color. I don't know. I just didn't feel for it at the time. I didn't feel for it at the time. After watching this movie, it's a great story that I wish I took the time to actually read the book and kind of go in. I might actually read the book after this. Fortunately, they had Miami Book Week here. And so the author, Gregory Maguire of the book Wicked, was there. And he spoke about the book. He couldn't really go into depth because they were locking him up on because the movie was coming out. It's like, shut up. You can't say it. I was like, damn, brother. But he was like talking about other things he was doing. And it was really interesting to see his insight and how he started as a young kid in a house with like 10 kids and how he just started to write about stuff. And this movie meant so much to him when it came out. And I forgot how, like, The Wizard of Oz changed everything, right? That was our first from black and white to color live. And I was like, wow. It was like, when you saw that as a kid, I don't know for you, but for me, when I saw that as a kid, I was like, oh, this is crazy. And then when I went to college, you had played with Pink Floyd and do some mushrooms. That was a whole nother thing. That was even crazier. Pink Floyd, Wizard of Oz, mushrooms. Good time.
I'm a big fan of The Wiz, so that's where my.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's a valid point.
And I
shout out to Michael Jackson, Diana Ross.
And I went to see that theater production when I was in high school. In Chicago.
Really?
Yeah, so that was one of those.
Any big actors or actresses that were in that when you saw it on?
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes, it was supposed to be. It was it's gonna come to me. I'll figure it out. But she wasn't there the day we went. Her understudy.
Oh, but there was at least some big name in it at the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I'll shout out when they gave a throwback or shout out to the original cast. So Idina Menzel, she played the original Elphaba, and so there's a scene with her and Christian Chenoweth where they're playing like these characters in a play in Oz, and so they both get to sing, do their thing on the stage. So I love that. It wasn't like 2 seconds. They got at least like 5 minutes in the movie. So a great tribute to them because they were the ones who put this play and book on their back and on their shoulders. And so it's really, you don't make the movie until you can see what it can do. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do the movie and kind of do all that stuff. So you always got to give a shout out to the originals, the OGs.
The OGs. It was Stephanie Mills, by the way, when I was.
Oh, get it, Stephanie. Wow, young Stephanie Mills back in the day. Okay, player, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
The Oz was a weird movie because it was our movie, but it was very weird at the time because I felt like the budget wasn't all the way there.
I love the movie.
It was great, but come on, man, it took place like in Harlem. It was crazy. It's like, all right.
Are you gonna take us on a journey through Wicked?
What do you mean? I just explained what Wicked was about.
Oh, I know you like to break down the film. What are our favorite portions?
No, well, again, that's why I wanted you to take over and kind of do that. But I can say, so you said you saw the play. I'm sorry, you didn't see the play. You read the book. You were a big fan of Oz, and yeah.
What was your take on the film, bro? Did you love it? What did you take away from it? I know you essentially had a connection to it from like a political perspective, but overall as a film, like, because I know this film is definitely getting a lot of Oscar buzz.
Yeah.
So people are already throwing.
Well, let's just base it on this. I'll give three things: music. I'm gonna do the acting and the actual movie in its totality. About was it a good movie? So I love that you get the origin of all these characters that we kind of find out who if our generation already knows who these characters are later, who they become. But it's nice to see that origin story and like, okay, now we have a base, and now, oh wow, piecing that all together. Even the monkeys, that's crazy. The flying monkeys, that's a whole other. But the storyline, I like the storyline. The musicals, oh my god, some of them were very, very painful for me. Prince Firio, his one, I think that was the best song. I really like that song. I don't care about the one that's a fun song. And he was killing it. He was doing the dance moves. I was like, okay, player. So shout out to Jonathan Bailey. He was killing it. Acting, everybody did their job. I get annoyed. I have my rule: more than 2 rappers in a movie, I can't do it. Ariana Grande, I'm sorry, that's the truth. More than 2 rappers in a movie, it's very tough, very rare. It's a good movie, very rare. It happens, very rare. And so I do the same thing with people who are, in the music industry, and they try to switch it up. So Ariana Grande, shout out to her, because I can't stand the other one who does all those movies and just ruins movies. She might have ruined the Joker. You know who that is. Yeah. Worst actress ever to grace. That's my personal opinion. I didn't say any names, but I think she just doesn't give anything to it. She's like a Kardashian to me. Again, this is all my opinion. It's not black film. This is my opinion. But yeah, awful. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yikes.
Rob, how'd you feel?
No, I absolutely loved it. Of course, I knew what to expect walking into this. I'm a person who I can digest musicals. I love them. They don't overwhelm me too much. If there's not supposed to be musical breakouts in the middle of a movie, that bothers me. If I'm watching a TV show and all of a sudden in season 4 and episode 6 is a musical,
unsuspecting musical is not the way to go. Okay.
I can't do that. But for this, I'm walking into the theater fully ready for it. I did not paint my face green. I did not wear anything pink. But I was excited about it. I have been looking forward to this film all year. They did an abundance of press for this movie. So and it's still going. So there's no missing the fact that Wicked is out right now. So I was ready for it. I'm very excited and happy to announce that none of the musical theater kids broke out into song in the theater. I spoke to a friend of mine and she's like, oh, we know not to interrupt performances during movies. I was like, thank God. Okay. But because the songs are so recognizable, I expected for people to sing along. Thank God they did not, because I really did want to enjoy the experience of the film. I think it was very beautifully performed on the part of Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. I know I've seen a few interviews with both of them, and the level of pressure they were under to be on harnesses, wearing a corset, and still have to perform fully and belt those songs out, I'm sure was massively challenging, but they both were so phenomenal in their performances. I completely understand why the Oscar buzz is floating around. I'm sure there will be nominations for both of them. The costume set design, I thought
that was really well done. Mm-hmm.
Very well done. We were in a fantasy world, but it still felt very grounded. It didn't feel too much like we were in some CGI fantasy world. It felt very grounded. It felt very real. It felt like you were there. So I appreciated that approach. The journey of the story was impeccably done from a directorial standpoint as well. So John Chu did a fabulous job, and I can't really say anything bad about it. It is nearly 3 hours. There was a moment where I slept a little bit. I fell asleep a little bit.
You all slept, Rob. Everybody took a nap in this movie. Whether it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you took a nap.
I think because it's so vibrant and so bright and it's so long, you're overwhelmed, like you're eating cotton candy, and then you pass out for a second from like a sugar high, and then you wake up.
You had the itis. You got the itis during the movie. Is that what you're saying, Rob? You got the itis during the movie?
I think so. And I didn't have no wine before the movie. I just literally fell asleep for like 2 minutes.
That's the worst when it's like a good 2 minutes, like the pivotal point. You're like,
oh
man.
But it is. So prepare yourself if you've not seen it. If you've not,
I woke up and they were flying. I was like, damn, how the monkeys? What happened? How the monkeys get in?
You missed a lot, bro. You missed a lot.
I was like, they get to Oz, they're hanging out, and then I wake up, flying monkeys everywhere. I was like,
I think that's the point where everybody fell asleep. Maybe they need to look into that because I fell asleep right after they went.
No, it is because it becomes too dark. It's vibrant the whole time, but when they go to Oz, it's darker in the emeralds and stuff. So I was like, oh, I feel warm and cozy now. I was like, oh man. Oh God. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I am very, very excited for the part two.
Oh, that's what pissed me off. Stop it. Stop making money off us. You don't need a part two.
You don't know the rest of the story then.
I know, but you could have crunched this like.
They squeezed a lot into 3 hours. I don't think you can tell the rest of that story and we would have been in the movies for 5 hours.
So shout out to the original writer again, Gregory Maguire. He was talking about that when they approached him about the movie, and he was like, well, in the book you learn more about Alpha's background and growing up, and so in the movies they're like cut that all out, and he's like, I had one paragraph and that was it, and so I had to put it all in, and so you don't really get to learn about Alphaba. And he was like, that's the only thing that I dislike about it. But otherwise, he's like, you know what? I love what they did with it. And again, I understand that's the directors and that's how they edit and kind of cut and paste and do that. Alpha's,
I think they did.
They give you a little bit, not a base storyline, but not as in depth, I believe he says, as the book goes.
Correct. But I think it's very important. They had to do it because you have to understand, for context, the relationship between Elphaba and Nessa Rose, her sister. So you kind of have to understand that relationship for us to continue into part two. So I think they did a great job of condensing it and sharing enough so that we know who Elphaba's father is, because we know who he is.
Yeah. But can we talk about Alpha's mama being a lady of the night?
She was enjoying herself. Okay.
She was a hussy. I ain't never seen one in my life. Her mama was man. I watched this film. I was like, oh damn, that's what we're doing.
Oh my God. There
were kids watching this film. It went rated R right off the bat. I was like, damn, that's what we're doing.
Too rated R.
And that's racist too, because they're trying to make the mom out to be something. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
a whole film, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Trying to bring us down. So now not only is the daughter green, not only is the daughter green, but the mom is a sister.
Well, she's green. There was some intention behind that.
I know, but I'm just saying, there's levels to it, Rob. Levels to it.
Got you.
Sip my tea. There's a lot of tea. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. You got to watch. Matter of fact, Rob, I might go see it again and take a nap early in the movie so I can stay awake the rest of the other half of the movie.
Well, we meet some other very important characters. We meet Bach, played by Ethan Slater, who is the boyfriend of Vanessa Rose, who's going to be integral in part two as well. And then also the introduction. How did you feel about? Did you have a scene that stood out for you? Because I know you that's some other conversation you like to have. Was there any moment in particular that stood out?
Rob's running the show today. I'm done, people. Rob's running.
Why are you done?
I'm listening. I'm just saying. I'm done. Rob, you take off. You got the scene that I like well, you know what? I love that you got to see Oz, and so in the Wizard of Oz, you only saw from the perspective of just seeing the wizard, and you didn't really get to see the city that much. You saw the Little Big Road, and then boom, and then you welcome him in, and that was it. So now you really got to see the land of Oz and how big it was, how massive it is. So that kind of opened up, your brain to oh my God, look at all these things. The Emerald City. You didn't know a lot of people live in the Emerald City. And so I wonder if in the second half or second part, they play into how the Emerald City gets smaller, right, and diluted from the amounts of people that you see in this to begin with. So I don't know. It's very interesting to see that dynamic in the movie. Jeff Goldblum, shout out to him, man. He always does a great job, no matter what he does. Good. I mean, I've been rocking with him since back in the day, The Fly. You know, that's
I was obsessed with The Fly. I thought it was disgusting, but I loved it.
I couldn't sleep for like a week back then. It was crazy. It's crazy. My mom, his ear fell off. I was like, what the hell? Anyway, then there's another great movie he's in with I can't think right now, but he had a lot of good movies. So Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park, he's been doing it for a long time. So I think for him, his storyline is just knock it out the park. Give the wizard like a background. And so the Wizard of Oz only heard a story. In the Wizard of Oz, you don't really know who Oz is. He's fake in the front of who he is, but you don't really know like how that happened. And so I kind of love that we find out what Oz is really about. He's a politician at heart, man. He's just hustling and trying to just keep everything moving. And the more you keep people guessing, the longer he'll be alive to do whatever he wants to do. And so that's how it starts. I wonder if they'll go into a little bit more of the Emerald City for him, and how he got the. No. Okay, thanks, Rob.
No,
we didn't get to know that.
Well, I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
No. But I'm just saying, for me, questioning that doesn't know anything about it besides watching the movie, it'd be interesting to see if they do that. And if they don't, I think it's a big miss. And maybe they'll make it up for it in the movie. But I think it's a miss to kind of know like, how is the city thriving throughout? You know, now we know about the college. We never knew about the college before, because supposedly this is a dream, right? Wizard of Oz is based on a dream. No,
maybe
she goes to sleep. There's a hurricane. No, Wizard of Oz. No.
Oh, you mean the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, Wizard of Oz. So now if you're doing a prequel to this, it's levels to it, Rob. I'm just saying, it's levels to it. That's my thing for the day. Quote of the day: levels to it.
Levels to it. Performance. I thought Ariana Grande really did a great job at defining the character and being outside of. I mean, she's always kind of squeaky, but I think she's a phenomenal. Her performance was phenomenal. And I thought she really embodied Galinda.
She wasn't annoying. I was afraid she was going to be annoying, and she wasn't annoying.
She absolutely wasn't.
She pissed you off sometimes, but
as she should have.
Yeah, she did everything to the point where you still like, okay, I respect her. I respect what she did this movie and did everything. But I was nervous. I was like, oh God, is she gonna be? I got to do a whole movie with Ariana Grande.
And I think with these musicals, like you said, you have people who have kind of become known for the main performances. And I thought, everybody was waiting for her performance of Popular, and everybody was waiting for Cynthia Erivo's version of Defying Gravity. So I think they both embody both of those songs very well, and I thought they owned them. And I'm just beyond excited to see part 2, and we got to wait a whole year.
I can't wait to hear more musicals. So excited.
Ro, you wore your green for this, and you're so unenthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I like the movie. Listen, you can do it out the musicals, I'll be fine. Seriously. The dance numbers, everybody's jumping around. I'm like, guys, there's too much energy being wasted. Relax.
I get it.
So Jonathan Bailey, who plays Prince Furio, he becomes the love interest of Galinda. What'd you think about that relationship and how that played out with him, her, and Alphaba, kind of having like this three-way love kind of triangle?
Well, because I know the story, I can't say too much.
You can just give an opinion what I asked you, Rob.
Well, because
again, an opinion of what I asked you. I didn't say don't ruin. I didn't say ruin anything. I said you can give us an opinion of what I asked you. I know what happens. I know too what happens. I'm just saying you can give me an opinion of what happened in the movie, Rob.
It was great. No, it was great.
What are we doing here? What are we doing?
I don't know how to answer the question.
What do you mean? Like, what? There was a. So, Alphaba and Prince Furio, they become close due to situation, and also Galinda falls in love with Prince Furio, and he was feeling in the beginning, but then he's more into Alphaba later. But they have a friendship that is a little more deeper than, you know.
Yeah, there's a bond and a connection between them that's deeper
Yes.
than the surface. It's very surface with Galinda, because he's very much about outer appearance, of course. But yeah, I thought it was I thought they depicted that the journey of those relationships very well, and then we also get to see his relationship evolve with Alphaba when they rescue the baby lion, and that journey as well. So it was beautiful. Like, we got to see the subtlety of the relationship between the two of them and how it was blossoming, but they both knew there was some taboo in it because of the relationship she also had with Galinda. So I thought they crafted that very well.
Yeah. No, it was really well done. And makes you wonder what's going to happen to that lion.
You already know.
I don't know how, like, I'm so just like, I think you should erase the Wizard of Oz and start from scratch.
Why?
Because you this prequel stuff is messing it all up.
How does it mess it up?
Because again, the lion doesn't make it, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do the Wizard of Oz over at this point.
Oh, you're saying just now do the Wizard of Oz over?
Yeah, get rid of the classic and just do it over. People lose their mind, but just do it over.
No.
If you're gonna give me a part 2, 1 and 2, why not just do the Wizard of Oz over?
Because part 2 is the rest of what happens to.
Yes.
And that leads to Dorothy and everyone else in Oz. So that's what we're gonna see now, what happens and how that all ensues. Which I'm sure you already know.
All right.
But you don't have to do it over.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I think there's things they've given us more insight to these movies that we had watching the original Wizard of Oz. So now it opens up. I think you can make it even better.
Yeah, but I think to your point, like,
I mean, it's a classic, and then you get you get the old songs. You kind of, I think you can.
But I think to your point, we never really, with the Wizard of Oz, we never really got to see a full experience with Alphaba or her sister. Like, we never really went on a journey with the Wicked Witches. And
you know, that's a valid point, because it was all Dorothy. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So really it's from her perspective.
Right. So she's just seeing it as them being these horrible people. But now that we're starting to hear the origin stories, we're like, wait a minute, but she was really fighting for this, and her goal was this. But we would have never known that because it was just this journey of Dorothy trying to get home.
So that's my problem with this film. If I can always say one problem with this film, my brain is in Wizard of Oz, where this movie is not in the Wizard of Oz. It's in Oz, but it's not in the Wizard of Oz. And so Galinda is a mofo, because Galinda is so gangster that if you remember the Wizard of Oz, the house falls on Alphaba's sister, right? If I'm correct.
Correct.
And so I don't even know how the sister's going to become bad and all that stuff. Anyway, the house falls on her.
I know.
Kills her. And then she's gangster, steals her shoes, her ruby red slippers, which they give her silver slippers in the movie. Which,
but it all
okay, all right, it'll come together. So
come together, you'll understand why.
Well, I would suggest don't ever see the Wizard of Oz.
No,
and that way, when you watch this, you're not going back and forth being like, why are you doing this? What's going on?
It's all explained, and
it's
like. You've already met a lot of the characters who
but I'm
Wizard of Oz,
because these characters are doing more than they did.
No, I'm saying the characters in the Wizard of Oz. If you don't know, you've already
yes, I know. It was her uncle and her cousin and her other sister down the block. That's who it was. In Dorothy's Dream, that's who they were.
No, I'm talking about some of the main principal characters that you know from the Wizard of Oz are in this story, and as the story progresses, I don't want to ruin it, but.
All right.
Yes, it'll all make sense. It'll all come together and it'll all make sense. That's why I'm like, just go for the journey. Like, it'll make sense.
So there's a moment at the end where now Alphaba's getting her power on, meaning she's really learning how to develop them. So Michelle Yee, she's the big madam at the school where she's teaching. She takes one student on a year and really develops and hones on their skills. And so she sees that Alphaba has all this power, and she really wants to hone it. So you don't know whether she wants to use it for good or for evil, but she wants to be able to teach her how to use it. And so we really get to see Alpha become her own to the point where she learns how to fly, learns how to use her magic, and then there's a huge scene at the end where she gets her broom. That is another scene that was messed up too. The way she got the broom, I didn't like the way she got the broom. I think the broom symbolized so many more things than it actually was, and I didn't really like that part of that. I felt I was very angry at that point in the movie too. There were so many things as simple as here's your broom, woman, and go, and I'll be on your way. And I'm like, mother. It wasn't like I just needed to be more like when Thor gets his hammer, right? They try to have that moment, but it wasn't. I didn't feel that same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. I felt like, oh, thanks. Here's my broom to go fly my ass away. Yes, thank you so much.
Because I think it's just a little bit more soft and sentimental than like the hammer experience.
No, but now you are full witch now, because now you got the half Mariana Grande that gave you a hat being gangster, and now you got your whole outfit
being nasty,
doing all black, and now you're going flying around, and now you have your witch, so you can fly. You have your brooms, so now you can fly around. All right, I just felt very.
It felt flat for you, Ro?
I don't know, man. A lot of elements, I will say. A lot of elements in this film.
It's a big production.
Yeah, they were pushing a lot of envelopes here. I'm like, oh really? We're gonna do that? Okay, all right, that's what we're doing. It felt like also like High School Musical at one point when they have. Yeah, because think about this: when they have the prom or whatever, they have the dance thing, and then Alpha does this move, and Ariana Grande is like, "Oh my God, let me! Oh, I don't want you to feel like you're out of place here. Let me do what you're doing." And then there's a dance move. Oh my God, it's so crazy! Now we're all gonna do it together. Boom, boom, boom. What are we doing?
You just weren't connected to this movie at all.
What are we doing? Come on. But we've seen this a million times. Like, come on, give me something different.
Agree. I have to disagree. Yeah. But
you said agree or disagree. Which one do you agree?
You agree to disagree. I was gonna say agree.
You agree to disagree?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. It's what it is. Again, I still recommend the film. There's just certain things. If you're not a musical person, I would say, I'm sorry, you're gonna have a long night. It's gonna be a long
3 hours. But I think they'll come on the other out.
But I will say you will have one of the best naps of your life. I'll tell you that right now. When that music hits, it reminds me every year at Christmas. When I was a kid, we go see the Nutcracker. I had the best sleep of my life as a kid. Nutcracker, woo! I was out. Woke up and the rat would come out. The Rat King would come out. I was like, oh, the Rat King. And I was like, okay, I'm up now. But best half an hour of my life sleep. If you want that, that's what this movie will give you. You're not into musicals. If you are into musicals, you'll have the best time of your life. You will feel like you're a part of this film, and you want to be flying around the room with your broom.
Which I think is the experience for most people, Ro.
There you go. So there's two sides to a coin, right?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, got him. Anyway, that's the film. Do you want to add anything to it?
No, I think people should absolutely go out and see it. Make sure you go see it in time. Well, you have a year before part 2 comes out, so you got plenty of time. But enjoy it. I think it's better in the movie theater. Go see it. People aren't.
Yeah, I would highly recommend. That's one thing I'll agree with you on with that. The scene in the movie theater, because just seeing the screen, and then when she flies around, I kind of like that. Like they zoom in, the clouds. I mean, they did CGI was amazing. They did amazing. The props and everything. Like they didn't waste any dollars on anything. Even the uniforms. Hear me out. The college uniforms. I want those out there for Halloween next year.
Oh, they'll be out there.
There were some cool ideas. I was like, oh, that's actually cool. Like the school kind of thing, kind of like when they do for Hogwarts. I would love that. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with that. But if they do that, it's stupid not to.
You're getting one?
I would. Honestly, I would. I was like, okay, I like that one. He had the little outfit.
There you go, bro. Okay, I see it.
You know, walking up. What's up, Clay? How you doing, man? Pop.
Oh my God.
Anyway, you know, I'm about the musical. I'm about that life. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, everybody, tonight. Next week we got one more show before Christmas. Because Christmas is on a Wednesday. Yes, we'll do one more show next week. We're gonna do Gladiator.
Oh, let me tell. Got to go see it this weekend.
That's right, sir. That's right, sir. See some Denzel. We'll bring another Denzel on a Denzel.
I love it.
More Denzel.
Always
Right.
down for it.
Okay, so he got nominated too for gold. Yeah, for that for Gladiator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'll see. I'm going in there with a lot. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I am going into this movie with so much hate because one of my favorite movies is Gladiator. I've been to the Coliseum. I'm really going in there with a lot of hate. So for him to be nominated and to still hear this movie was a really good movie. I asked a lot of friends that saw it, like, yo, you would like it. I'm like, really? So I'm going in there with hate. So next week when I speak about it, it's going to be from the heart. That's it.
Love it.
All right. Robert, take us out.
All righty.
Oh, see ya.